it is absolutely treacherous this morning on the roads. Very, very foggy. Visibility is only like 5-10 meters, and yeah, the windscreen keeps starting to fog up. So anyway, I'm going slow. I'm not going to film too much because it's not good. Yeah, it's definitely starting to cool down as we head into autumn here. We're at the very tail end of summer. I mean, the equinox is tomorrow on the 21st, so that's really going to mark astronomically, the start of autumn. People here tend to just say, oh yeah, they just go by the three-month model of, like March to May is autumn, June to August is winter, and so on. But that's really not accurate. They should go by the 21st. Tends to be when, around that time tends to be when the season actually changes. Like March has been really, really hot here. It's been just as hot as February, I would say. There's not been much change so far, but now the nights are starting to get cooler. Days are still hot, but we're starting to get cool nights with quite a bigger fog, which is usual for this area that I live in. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the cooling down, honestly. I really don't like hot weather that much at all. I don't deal well with it. I mean, I definitely prefer. I moved to this area end of winter last year permanently from the Gold Coast, and yeah, coming from the Gold Coast is like much more tropical climate. Well, it's subtropical technically, but yeah, it's hot and humid for most of the year, and then you have a short spurt of like winter, but the winter there is not even really a proper winter. Like, it doesn't even get properly cold at all. But here it does get properly cold here if we do get a proper winter. Most people, especially from overseas, tend to think, oh, Australia is just this dry, sunburnt country that's just boiling hot all the time. Well, no, that's not true at all. Some of the country is, especially if you're up north in the tropics. Of course, then it is hot and humid all the time. And if you're in the desert, in a lot of the northern parts, it's hot most of the time. It's true. But even in the deserts, in winter, it's not that rare for the temperatures to drop below freezing. So it'll still be warm in the day, but then at night it'll still get freezing. And a lot of the going further south in the country, I mean, I'm not even that far south. I'm still in the state of Queensland, but I'm on the western side of the Great Dividing Range, just at the southern part, almost at the very southern part of Queensland. I'm like 5 kilometers from the New South Wales border, and I'm like not even that far, like maybe like a bit over an hour from the town of Stanthorpe, which is the coldest town in Queensland that can get snow in winter. This area here that I live in, it can get sleet and very light snow here and there, but it's not really common. Usually it's very rare. But up in the mountains here, it can get snow sometimes, but again, not very common. It's not freezing here in winter by any means, like, not all the time. But yeah, the days tend to be really nice, like probably like 14 to 17 degrees Celsius roughly, and then the nights drop to around freezing or below freezing. So I wouldn't. It's not extremely cold compared to other places. Like, we're not deep frigid winter as such. Not like in like Europe or North America, parts of Northern Asia, Siberia. Not like that, but like, yeah, it's certainly not true that Australia doesn't get cold. This area does get cold. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just rambling a bit about the change of season. It's I really like observing changes in. I like observing nature, right? I like observing wildlife, and I like just paying attention to my surroundings and just watching the change of the seasons. It's something that I always enjoy, and I like talking about it as well. It's interesting to me. So yeah, maybe as a bit of a more light-hearted video. Let me know where are you guys from. I know might have a few. I think I have a few other Australian viewers, but I know most of my viewers are from overseas, especially the US. The few viewers that I do have, maybe there's some from other places, I don't know. So yeah, as a bit of a more light-hearted video, you know, if you're still watching, let me know where you guys are from, you know, what country, maybe what part of the country, and yeah. Alright, since I've been talking about weather, climate, what kind of climate do you guys live in, and what kind of climate do you enjoy? Do you like, you know, summer, winter, hot weather, all that, cold weather? You know, I personally, I much prefer winter over the summers here. I mean, overall, I would prefer, you know, spring and autumn. That's probably a good middle ground. The Gold Coast, where I came from, there was really no spring and autumn. It was just hot and humid for probably 8-9 months of the year. You didn't have much change, and then you have a really short and sharp winter, like 2-3 months. But that's really it. But here, there does tend to be 4 distinct seasons that you can really observe. And I mean, if you go back even further before, you know, like if you went back to looking at, you know, indigenous history in this area, looking at the history of the indigenous people, they probably had a whole different model for how they would have, you know, mapped the seasons. Like, for example, up north, in the northern parts of Australia, in the Northern Territory especially, they have the Aboriginal tribes around that area. They had actually a 6-season model, and you know, you can't have the same season model for every part of the country. Like, most Australians still tend to go by the 4-season model, like almost everywhere apart from in the tropics. But it's really not accurate, because the climate across this massive country it changes quite a lot depending on where you are. Like, I'm only 3 hours inland from the Gold Coast, where I moved from mid last year. And yeah, the climate does shift quite a lot over that short distance, because we're higher up, we're inland, away from the coast, and we're higher up in elevation here at about 500-600 meters, which I don't know how much that's in feet. Yeah. Anyway, that's all it for today. My ramblings about that. So I'll see you all in the next one. Ciao.